While at Fagan-Vitter's World War II Museum in Granite Falls, RAF veteran Stan Reeves shares the story of his life during the war.
Originally, I was born in a suburb of London, grew up there, and I was in my last 6 months of school when the war broke out, September 3rd, and never finished school because they closed them all in London. When I was 16, I joined, the Royal Air Force had a cadet program, and I joined that. And periodically we would go out to a fighter airfield that was nearby and clean guns, polish windshields, things like that. And then in late September, October, early October, the bombing started. And we were bombed for 89 nights. I had gone to bed one night about midnight, and the sirens went off, and within minutes I heard the sound of aircraft, followed by the sound of bombs. They just sort of, and then the bang. I counted 22 of those. Had there been 23 or 24, I wouldn't be here today. The next morning on my way to work, I rode down the street on my bicycle. There wasn't a house still standing on either side of the street, and that street was nearly half a mile long. We had a bomb that landed in the house in the street next to where we lived, and that was the first time I got blown up. The blast picked me up and threw me back across the room. But no, we were fortunate. My house was never touched. When I was 17, I joined the RAF. My dad was in the Royal Flying Corps in World War I. And he was a mechanic, and he told me tales of the flying in World War I, and I decided I wanted to fly. Nobody told me they were going to shoot at me. But I started out as a pilot trainee and did 12 and a half hours. And then they told us that they needed more bomber crews and there would be no more pilot training, and most of us were sent to Canada for training as navigators, bombardiers, gunners, and was there for almost 8-9 months. And then we came back to England and some more training. And I wound up with a bunch of other guys on a Lancaster bomber as bombardier. I saw a lot of guys died. We lost 4 aircraft one night. 7 in the crew, that's 28 men gone. And I didn't like being shot at on those missions. The flak was pretty, not too bad. Most of it was light flak. I didn't get into a squadron until the last 6 or 8 months of the war, and it was winding down by then. So the Luftwaffe was pretty much wiped out, and most of the fellows that were flying German planes had very little time, and so they weren't too anxious to tangle with us. The end of the war, I came back to Canada. I married a girl that I had met while I was in training in Winnipeg, and we lived in Canada for a time. But then I was offered a job in the States, and I've been here ever since.